And we're live. What is going on, everybody? My name is Nikki Smokes, joined by my co-host Bobby. And honestly, I'm just going to bring on the man of the hour himself, Frank the fucking
Hank.
Honestly, I just want to blow the roof right off rip, Frank. I want to blow the roof off this motherfucker already. Is this not the saddest thing you've ever seen in your entire life? An 8-3 Miami Dolphins football team with arguably the best roster we've had in the last 20 years, and this team might not get into the playoffs, Frank. Is this
They're
not
not
the
getting in the playoffs. They're done.
embarrassment of all time?
They're done.
They're done.
They're done.
Done.
I mean, we're gonna have either Skylack Thompson or Mike Glennon. ET phone home.
You like that Mike Lennon signing?
Mike Glennon looks like we already have a cheetah and a penguin. Now we have a giraffe.
We got the whole damn zoo.
The zoo.
We got the whole fucking zoo, and we're not wearing throwbacks again. Like,
why?
Who needs to
Why?
get
No throwbacks?
fucking head?
I hear Mike McDaniel doesn't like the throwbacks. He thinks it's too aggressive.
Too aggressive.
Wow. You also think Mike McDaniel doesn't like big offensive linemen because of their carbon footprint emission. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Nothing else makes sense.
He likes people like Liam Eichenberg, who gets 95-year-old woman with a walker and two hip replacements could push him down.
Sounds about right. But you think what do you think about if Flores was the coach still over McDaniel? Because obviously we made that change this offseason. Do you think Flores has this team in a position right now where they're going to the playoffs, or is it just the
if
team?
Mike Flores is the coach, they would be 11-5 right now, and we'll be playing for seeding, not playoff spot.
So you're done with Mike McDaniel.
I never liked the firing, and the more I see Mike McDaniel, the less I like him.
What about Tua, though?
He's 100% excuses.
Are we still on the Tua train, or does Tua suck now?
He just can't stay healthy. I mean, the offensive it's bad. I mean, that the hit that he supposedly suffered concussion on against the Packers, no one should be getting a concussion from that type of hit.
I don't think it's a talent thing. I just think it's a durability thing. I don't know how you could go on and think you're going to pay this guy.
And Teddy Bridgewater, he's as soft as butter.
He's a loser.
Soft as warm butter.
And then you got Skylack Thompson, who throws. I've seen beach balls throw more zip than I've seen his passes.
No zip, Frank. I honestly think you could probably throw the football faster than him. To be real. And you might be a better guard than Liam Eichenberg. Has anyone told you that?
I hate Liam Eichenberg. I really do. It seems like Liam Eichenberg, the only thing he does is hold or jump off sides.
Or get tackled by his own players. The guy literally gets ran over by his own guys. He's horrendous.
Did you see there was a run where he basically got in the way of Mostert.
He's terrible. He's a liability. But hey, if you had to pick between him or Jesse Davis to block you to save your life, which one would you pick?
I think I choose Davis because Eichenberg is just incompetent.
Wow, that's strong. Because we saw Jesse Davis, we saw what he was capable of.
And yet Chris Greer keeps his job. Chris Greer couldn't pick an offensive line to save his life. How does Chris Greer still have a job?
I mean,
he's now been
he's hit on some picks. He just doesn't hit on the ones that you have to hit on. Like, he's drafted Xavier Howard, he's drafted Jalen Phillips, he's drafted Javon Holland, he's got Tyreek Hill, he's gotten Teron Armstead. I mean, he's built.
Yeah, but Teron Armstead can't stay healthy either.
Yeah, I mean, but we knew that when we signed him.
It's true.
Do you think this team's actually going to even be good next year with all the cap hits and no draft picks?
I think the only way that this team is going to be different than it was last year is if they have a quarterback that plays all 17 games. I think if we gave him a magic potion where he could play all 17 games and not get hurt, this team right now would be 12-4 or 12-5, whatever it is nowadays. Easily. But knowing that he's going to miss at least 3 to 4 games, you got no shot. Like every single year, we got to go out there and pay a new fucking backup quarterback who absolutely sucks or is sorry or is soft or who
They
can't
got
throw
it.
the football.
They got to try to convince at least. They got to try to convince somebody.
Well, who do you think? I
to be
think
a
they should
backup.
go with either Brady or Rodgers. I don't think they should go Lamar. I think Lamar is just as injury prone as Tua.
Carr, just to throw another name in there.
I mean, they don't have the cap space to get Brady or Rodgers.
Yeah, they do. They'll have like $50 million in cap next year. I know they're negative right now, but that cap space ain't real, Frank. You know that the Saints are supposed to be bankrupt this year.
And can you answer me this? Mike Gesicki was one of the best potent pieces in our offense, and Mike McDaniel just hates him.
Hates him.
It's kind of fair, man. All year we've said Mike Gesicki doesn't fit in McDaniel's offense. Mike Gesicki doesn't fit in McDaniel's offense. Well, why doesn't McDaniel just figure out a way to make Mike Gesicki fit?
Because, he doesn't like Mike Gesicki because his carbon footprint.
It all comes back to the carbon footprint.
Yeah. Do you watch The Mandalorian?
Yes, of course. Love that show.
Tell me Mike McDaniel doesn't look like Dr. Pershing trying to kill Baby Yoda.
He kind of does. He kind of does.
So he doesn't like Baby Yoda.
Edit. We got to get that as an edit. But instead of Grogu, we're gonna have Tua's face as Grogu.
I mean, he just sucks. He sucks.
He's bad.
And he thinks he's a genius. He's not. He's a dumbass.
You think he's a dumbass? You're done with Mike McDaniel completely. I'm gonna give him another year. I don't think he's that bad. I don't think he's that bad.
Well,
I think this is the most fun offense we've had. He's just had to play with dog shit quarterbacks.
Well, if they get another year, then there has to be a new defensive coordinator and a new general manager.
That's for sure.
Well, I think if I'm Ross though, if he feels that way, he has to completely clean house.
Chris Greer has had enough. I've had enough of Chris Greer. You bring in a GM and make him understand, hey, the coach will stay unless you have a real plan. If not, then Chris Greer has had enough. I've had enough of Chris Greer. I've had enough of his draft failures. I've had enough of his just excuses after excuses. This guy has survived 4 coaches. 4 coaches.
It's true.
GMs don't survive 4 coaches. And this team is just mediocre year after year after year.
It's terrible. And even when the talent's good, they still find a way to be 8-8, 8-9. There's no fucking way, Frank, that this football team right now should be 8-9. We were fucking 8-3. 8-3. Frank, I've seen the Dolphins go 1-15. I've seen the Dolphins start 1-7. I've never wanted to jump off the fucking roof of the Hard Rock Stadium like this in my entire life. This is worse than all of it.
No, this is the worst collapse yet. And I survived the 93 collapse when they were 9-2 and finished 9-7.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I mean, this has to be the worst collapse. You already said it. Worst collapse in Dolphins history you could ever remember. What about Mets? I know you're a big Mets guy. I just had to ask real quick. Does it compare to any of the Mets collapses you've had?
2007. This is definitely 2007.
2007 all over again.
And the Mets, the next 8 years never even came close to the playoffs.
Do you think the Dolphins are going to suffer that same fate?
Yes.
So is it a curse?
Is it a curse? What is it?
Might be a curse.
Well, it's the Indian burial ground. That's what it is. They built the stadium on the Indian burial ground. That's why this is all happening. Nothing else makes sense, Frank. I mean, you got to sit here and think about it. You signed the best receiver in the NFL. You signed an all-pro left tackle.
Well, here's the thing. The Dolphins continue to sign good receivers. Brandon Marshall, Mike Wallace, but they don't get the quarterback or the offensive line.
Yeah, but then Brandon Marshall came here and started doing all these fucking drugs, Frank, and he forgot who he was. They had to identify him with multiple personality disorder. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I mean, at least Tyreek Hill's over here chasing 2,000 yards down.
Yeah, well, that's gone. And so is the season.
So you're saying Finn's
Thompson
lose to the Jets on Sunday.
They can't throw the ball. So I think we're going to see at least 2 pick sixes by Sauce Gardner this week.
Oh God. So Frank, let me ask you. Somehow magically Stephen Ross gives the team over to you. It is now Frank Fleming's Miami Dolphins. What's first? What are we doing? How are we shaking this thing up? Because I'm sick of being miserable. I'm sick and tired
first
of it.
off, I bring in a new GM. And if the new GM wants to bring in a new coach, so be it. Secondly, I completely remake the offensive line. That's the offensive line is and Brandon and the secondary. That's got to be fixed too.
Well, I think they're just all banged up. Like the secondary, when they're healthy, if they're ever healthy, like before the season started, Frank, it was supposed to be Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, Javon Holland, and Brandon Jones.
Byron Jones.
That's like a
What
dream
is the deal with him? I
Who?
mean, does he even
Byron?
want to play? It doesn't look like he wants to even play.
Doesn't
Byron?
look like it. Yeah,
Byron Jones, the guy that calls you about your car warranty. He's a fucking scam. He's a fraud.
I mean,
401k'd us.
He was supposed to be activated after 5 weeks, and now the season's over, and he didn't play one game.
Well, remember during training camp, McDaniel said we might have him before week 1, and then they said they put him on PUP as like a safety precaution, and then he just decided to miss the whole fucking year.
Well, that tells you that Mike McDaniel's full of shit.
I guess that's fair.
You don't like Magic Mike.
Magic? What magic? There is no magic. It's only tragic.
That's a fucking bar, Frank.
Going from 8-3 to 8-8 is almost magic. Like you have to be magically bad.
9.
I know.
You lost the last 6 games of the year, dude. We were 3.5 point favorites on Monday morning. The Jets are now a 1 point favorite. The game's over. You don't even have to watch the game. Vegas is telling you that the Jets are going to steamroll you. The New York fucking Jets, without their starting quarterback possibly, are a 1 point favorite on the road against the Miami Dolphins. If that doesn't tell you that this team is fucking sorry, you have a problem.
No, they're done. They are done. There's no heart, and there's no accountability. And another one that needs to go is Josh Boyer.
I agree.
I mean, 100%. What the fuck? How many third down conversions have the Dolphins allowed this year?
Oh my God, it's the worst.
Billion?
How many times? 3rd and 3, 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. You don't even have to fucking watch the play, Frank. You know they're getting it. Or you're going to see Keon Crossing, pass interference, 15-yard penalty, spot foul. You're toast. 3rd down, the refs might as well just pick up the chains and spot the ball. Go. Move. Because they're going to get it every single time. And every single time it's the 4th quarter. And look, the defense has kept us in a lot of these games, the last couple games. I have to give them that. But there's always that drive in the 4th quarter where there's 5 minutes left, 3rd and short, and they can't get off the field, and then they just kill the clock.
And how about having whatchamacall, Van Ginkel lined up against
versus a receiver,
Jacoby Myers? I mean, what the fuck was that about?
And Frank, what about this kicker? We haven't even mentioned this kicker that we got on this team, Jason Sanders. What the fuck is this guy's problem?
He doesn't have the ability to kick anything over 40 yards.
I think he lost his balls because he used to be money.
I think he's taking the Mike McDaniel vegan diet.
We might as well hire PFT to kick extra points instead of this guy because I got no faith. I'd rather have PFT kicking him.
Yeah, he's missed a few PATs too this year.
That's what I'm saying. We can't have that.
And his kickoffs are easily returnable.
He missed the ball on Christmas. He went to do a kickoff and he missed the ball. Did you see that, Frank? It was like a squib kick, and they later admitted that it wasn't a planned squib kick. It wasn't an onside. Our kicker, who gets paid to kick the football, ran out there and hit the ball. Like, what are we doing here, Frank?
But he'll be back next year, just like Mike McDaniel, just like Chris Greer and Josh Boyer. And Liam Eichenberg.
If he's back, I will boycott the Dolphins. If Liam Eichenberg wears a Dolphins jersey next year, I will boycott the Dolphins. Frank, I don't know why we do it to ourselves. Every single fucking year, we build ourselves up.
You're telling me in the second round that Liam Eichenberg was the best offensive lineman available.
I mean, to be fair, they said he never gave up a sack in college.
Yeah, well, he's playing against...
I don't know how that's possible. I don't know who the fuck Notre Dame was playing that year, but it definitely was not Division I schools.
You know, a lot of times the players in college, they can't play in the pros. Playing a lot bigger people, a lot stronger people. And Leon Meikenberg has been nothing but a total failure.
Yeah, he's been terrible. Frank, I got a question. Me and Bobby, we've been debating this for about a day now. So the Dolphins, we suck. Like, we fuck everything up. No matter what decision the Dolphins make, it's 9 times out of 10 it's going to be wrong. So I want to ask you, and if there's any if anything happened before 1999 that I don't know about, by all means, you could add that in there. Biggest Dolphins mistake. So we're talking Breeze over Culpepper, Cam Cameron over Mike Tomlin,
Yeah,
and
our coach
Tua
is too
over
hip.
Herbert.
We didn't
Rank
want to
those
hire
three.
him. He was too hip hop.
Yes. Rank those 3, though. Which is the worst one out of those 3? I said Breeze, Tomlin, Herbert.
I'll go that order.
That's what I said. Thank you.
Breeze a Hall of Famer. You got to. And then Tomlin just doesn't lose seasons somehow.
Tomlin's a Hall of Famer, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look at the Steelers roster. Look at this team. They have the same record as us now. That's what we've done to ourselves this year. And Frank, I was telling Smoke before backstage, I placed a bet this year, Dolphins win total over 8.5. We get to 8-3. I'm celebrating. I can't wait to spend that money. I'm going on Amazon, picking out wish lists of things I'm going to spend the money on. Now it's 8-8, and we got the Jets. Do I just bet on the Jets? Do I just go to the Barstool Sportsbook app, hammer the Jets, and just get out of that thing?
I think the Jets are an absolute shoo-in this week.
Shoo-in. I agree. A complete lock.
Shout out King Dolphin for the super chat. Opinion on who should be gone next year: Greer, Tua, Sanders, Boyer, Baker, Roberts, Liam. Trade Wilkins for picks to get quarterback and save us. What do you think about that, Frank?
Well, Greer definitely has to go. God, these people are annoying me.
Wow, what's going on, Frank? Who's bothering you?
The guy just keeps texting me. Please answer.
Who?
Some asshole.
Just
Fuck
ignore
him,
bro.
Block his number, scumbag.
All right, let me see. I don't think you can trade Tua. You're going to get nothing for him.
Yeah, what are you going to get?
Wilkins, if you could get something good for him, offensive line, maybe.
I don't know. I can't see us giving up Wilkins. Heart and soul of the defense.
He's
you
the
let
best
him
player
go.
on
You
the
might
I
as
wouldn't
well
want to. No,
fucking
I
rebuild.
wouldn't want to get rid of him. I want to get rid of him. Liam Meikenberg, I mean, he needs to be cut.
Cut him just like Jesse did. Just cut him just like you did Jesse.
He shouldn't even be on an XFL roster, let alone the Dolphins.
Well, here's the thing, Frank. Like, I think Tua's talented enough to be a good quarterback. I just don't think he's durable enough to be a good quarterback.
He's not. You need a backup, and you need to get an offensive line.
Well, do you think he's talented enough? Like, if we gave him a magic potion, would you be comfortable with him being the starting quarterback for the Dolphins?
I would be.
Yes. Okay, I agree too. I think he's talented enough. When he's on the field,
I think that he's just brittle. He's too brittle.
I agree.
It's a reflection of the logo, Frank. It's a reflection of that new logo. It's just why are they not going back? Sorry, what was that you cut out there for a minute, Frank?
Skylack Thompson.
Loser. Stinks. I got fooled on that preseason hype. He throws pillows. He's got the weakest arm on the team, and we're talking about a team with Tua and Teddy.
And Teddy Bridgewater. What a worthless player.
$6.5 million.
Well, he gets cut. They can't bring him back next year.
No. But here's the thing. If you know Tua's that brittle, you've seen Skyler play, you're going to have to go buy another backup quarterback, and he's probably going to suck. That's why he's a backup quarterback.
Well, Derek Carr, maybe.
He ain't going to back up Tua.
Now we'll have to figure out who's available. Got to get somebody.
I don't know.
Definitely got.
You see, this is where Chris Greer, all these draft picks, and he failed, and yet he just stays and stays and stays.
It's unbelievable. It's embarrassing, honestly. Scott's got a question for you, Frank. What about Jim Harbaugh? Are you in or out?
What's Jim Harbaugh going to do?
I don't know.
What's his plan? I want to know his plan before I would hire him.
I mean, if
I'm
I
a
was
Michigan
him,
fan.
I think you would just have to clear house. Like, if you're coming in, you have to just clear house.
So starting from scratch again.
Well, I mean, when I'm saying clear house, I'm talking about Greer would have to go, DC would have to go.
Oh, Greer has to go first. Greer has to
Right.
be the first one gone.
Mm-hmm.
Been too long.
And then I think he would try to replace Tua. I think that's what I think that would be the message that the Dolphins are sending by hiring Jim Harbaugh. I don't think he would come in here and do what McDaniel did. Sucks.
Yeah, but who's out there? Who can they get? Who can they get with no
But here's
cap
the thing,
space?
Frank. Like, this roster shouldn't have to fucking get anyone. That's why it's so frustrating. Like, before the season started, week 1, you look at this roster, you're thinking, holy fuck, the Dolphins are actually good. Like, they can make some serious fucking noise. And then they just do what the Dolphins do. They get your hopes up. Start 3-0, lose the next 3, win the next 5. Then you lose the
This
fucking
team is
last
worse
5.
off now than it was when Adam Gase was the coach.
Wow.
I mean, we
I don't know
had
about
the perfect recipe with the first round picks, with the cap space. We could do anything we want after this year. Then all of a sudden, Ross gets caught tampering. You lose one. We trade for Bradley Chubb, a guy who has underperformed and then not shown up for the biggest games of the season. He's all of a sudden out, can't play. Now all of a sudden, no draft picks, no cap room, no nothing. I don't see what we do. I don't see how we fix it.
Chris Greer is flat out incompetent.
I think the Dolphins are just fucked. I don't think it does not matter who they bring in. They're toast. Like, even if they had chose Drew Brees over Dante Culpepper, Drew Brees probably would have tore his meniscus and never played football again. I think that's what we have to come to. I think it does not matter who the Dolphins pick. It's just instantly fucked. That's the only thing that makes sense. Frank, I got another thing for you. So I saw your tweet earlier, and I kind of like where your head's at. Would you have rather had the 8-3 start and all the hope and all the imagination that, wow, this team could really be different, or would you rather be the Houston Texans and just know you're going to fucking suck all year?
I'd rather be the Texans because they can fix it. The Dolphins are fucked and probably won't be able to compete for at least 4 years.
Someone's just blowing you up, Frank.
Yeah, you got to tell that guy to fucking kick rocks. If he's not your Uber Eats driver, I would tell him to take a hike. Is it your Uber Eats driver?
No, it's not my Uber Eats driver.
Just some piece of shit blowing you up?
Now I have a question for you. So us Dolphins fans, bro, we're miserable. After I watched the game Sunday, I'm miserable. I don't want to do anything. What do you do to find some happiness in your life? Because we're searching for happiness right now, and we're struggling to
There
find
is
it. So I'm
none.
wondering,
And the Mets are going to be a nightmare too. Correa fell through. He's going to go to the Braves, and the Mets will probably have a million injuries and not even and lose 90 games.
at least Cohen's spending money.
Yeah, well,
I mean, we're spending money too. We got no more money.
That's true.
We broke. All right, we got another $5 super chat from King Dolphin. Question for all of you. When we lose Sunday and miss the playoffs, does Ross clean house, get an elite coach and a quarterback like Rodgers or Brady to win once before he dies? I think that's a great question, and I believe the answer is yes, only because Stephen Ross is so old. If I was 82 years old and I'm looking at that bucket across the room and I know that fucker is going to get kicked soon, I don't give a fuck how anyone feels. I am pulling any string that I think is going to work to get me the damn Super Bowl. And that's why I think for him, he's like, okay, what do I need before I die? A ring. Who knows how to win a ring better than anyone? There's one answer and one answer only. His name's Tom Brady. So I think Ross, who, by the way, has already sat down with Deshaun Watson, settled 20 of his 22 cases for him, tampered with Tom Brady, invited him on the yacht, not once, but twice. And I know Beal was the common ground, but if you think Stephen Ross wanted nothing to do with him, you're out of your damn mind. And I'm telling you what, Ross knows. He's 82. It's either he wins one now, next year, or the year after, or he might be dead by then.
I don't know if Tom Brady's the answer.
Well, not if you think he's the answer. What Ross is going to do if the Dolphins lose and don't make the playoffs? That's the question.
I mean, if you go out there with Tom Brady and you still have Liam Eichenberg blocking, you're going to be watching Skylar Thompson.
Yeah. Anyone who gets back there with Liam at guard, you're just in trouble. You're
But that's the
asking
thing.
for more
Liam should have
injuries.
even been playing though. Like Rob
No.
was killing it.
Frank, how did you even become a Dolphins fan? You're Dolphins, Mets, you're kind of all over the place. What
Easy
made you
answer is
Dolphins?
Dan Marino.
Okay.
How?
Fair answer.
Just from watching him, or did you see him play in person once and you're like, holy fuck, that's the best
Well,
thing
I
I've ever
was
seen in my
I
life?
was young. You wore number 13. I kind of liked that. I just liked him. I was I actually was a Dolphin fan when I was 7 years old, watching him in Super Bowl 17.
Yo, let me ask you that because I don't know how that felt, but does it suck knowing you had the best quarterback in the entire league and you still never won a Super Bowl with him? Like, what's that like? I feel like that's almost as depressing as this.
Yeah, the problem was Dolphins always had a problem. They never had a good running game with him. They never had a good defense, except for when early 90s they had a couple of good defenders, and then John Offerdahl just couldn't stay healthy.
But was it more disappointing that the Dolphins, with the greatest quarterback of all time, couldn't win a Super Bowl? Or is it more disappointing that they can't even get in the fucking playoffs and win a game in the last 22
This
years?
is worse.
Gotta be. Because this is just constant mediocrity, man. There's no, we're not going to go win 12, 13 games.
I think if Dan Marino if they played in this era, he'd win. It just was a different era back then. You needed defense. You needed a running game. You don't need that anymore. The 1985 Dolphins were built to win in this era of football, not 1985.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a good point.
Damn Moore brothers gonna get you every time. Who's better, Moore brothers or Tyreek and Hill? I mean Tyreek and Waddle.
Yeah, did you mean the Marx brothers?
The Marx brothers.
That's what I meant. I'm out of it, Frank.
I
called
put
them the
Hill
Moore
as the
brothers.
best receiver I've ever seen. I put Clayton and Duper second and third, and I put Waddle fourth.
Okay. Tyreek, best Dolphins receiver ever. He probably has to be. I mean, look
I
at
think
what
he
he's
is.
doing
I
in
think
1
he
year.
already has all the records.
Yeah. Now Clayton and Duper were really good and special, but I think Tyreek Hill's just his speed.
How many games do you think Tua would have lasted in the 80s and 90s?
Well, first off, they would have given him some smelling salts, and he would have been back out there.
Probably true.
Do you think the concussions are a problem or no?
Some players just come along and they're really like fucked up. I mean, look at people like Jim McMahon. I mean, they're trying to better understand it. I mean, I don't know what they can do to fix it. Maybe a special helmet, something they got to do. But the Dolphins have to get a backup quarterback and have to find a solution.
Yeah, but we have to do that every year, Frank. We've done it every year. It just doesn't
Well,
work.
They got to find somebody. They
You
got
have
to
you have to get
find
lucky.
somebody
You have to
who's
get lucky in the
capable
draft.
of playing if Tua's down.
You got to find like your Dak Prescott, your Russell Wilsons.
And they don't know how to draft.
Third, fourth,
They don't know how to
sixth round
draft.
quarterback.
I mean, how did the Niners get Connor Purdy last pick in the draft, and we end up with Skylar fucking Thompson?
Purdy, literally.
I think Purdy might be the new starter over there. He might take Trey Lance's job. Skylar.
There's going to be a quarterback. There's going to be quarterbacks available. They got to get one, and they got to get one that can throw and one that can withstand hits.
So Frank, going into next year, is priority number one for you at the quarterback position bringing in a new guy who can start, or is it just finding Tua's backup? Which way are you more leaning at this point?
You know, Tua, I do it, but the number.
Oh, I think Frank might have cut out.
Oh, I thought that was me. That's why I just stopped speaking and moving.
Yeah, no, I didn't know. It's probably whoever keeps calling his phone. Yo, if you're calling Frank's phone, stop calling Frank's fucking phone. You're messing up an interview here. You're bothering
Absolute
the man.
scumbags. Absolute scum.
What an absolute perfect screenshot to leave us on, though.
That's what we do. We smell. He's covering his fucking nose because he smells the Dolphins logo coming off your freaking head.
Oh,
I think we should just leave him there like that.
Yeah, definitely.
See if we get him back up there. What a guest, though. Unbelievable. Frank the Tank on the fucking Smoke Show. You can't beat it. Oh,
I
you might have
hope he
lost
joins
him.
back
Sorry.
because I got
Yeah, he'll probably join back. If
got
you
a
guys
heart
haven't
palpitation.
already, got 150 people watching live, please go ahead, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you guys want to donate to the channel, you could obviously hit us with a super chat, or you can hit us up on Cash App or Venmo at Nikki Smokes One. Frank, it's that damn guy calling you. What the fuck is his
Yeah,
problem?
yeah. Well, let me see if I could get this up. Can you see me or hear me?
Yeah, we could. Oh, we could see you.
All right.
Maybe not anymore,
Me
but we
let me
were.
just give you an example of what's going on here.
You're a little frozen now.
Hello.
We can
Hey.
hear you.
Hello. Please answer me. I told him I'm on a call. Hello. What's your name? Hello. Hello. Hello.
You have
I
no
mean,
idea who he
seriously,
is.
what the fuck?
You have no idea who he is.
It's
block
the
him.
phone number.
Just block him.
Yeah, quick block.
I just blocked him.
There you
Bang.
go.
Get him out of here.
Fuck him.
Frank, I have to ask this question. It's been on my mind all day. As soon as I knew you were coming on the show, you're the hot dog guy. You are the go-to hot dog enthusiast. You know more about hot dogs than anyone on this planet. I'm from Western New York, Rochester. Have you heard of a brand, Zweigels?
Yes.
And how is the Zweigel, in your opinion? I've never seen the review. I need to know your opinion on the Zweigels because I live by them.
I do believe I have this Weigels at on my site, so you can look that up. But I know it was an all right dog. Are these the ones that have the white and the red variety?
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried them.
Just all right.
Frank,
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that
Frank,
up.
a lot
They
of
taste
people
more
don't
like a
know.
sausage meat than a hot dog.
A
Okay.
sausage, like a Bratwurst.
Yeah, they're more like a bratwurst to me than a hot dog.
I could get
Okay.
down with that though. I love that.
That's fair. I
Hey,
just had to
Frank, I
know.
don't know if a lot of people know this. Maybe they actually do because a lot of people fucking know you, Frank. But you're an entrepreneur. You got your own business, your own website. How'd you come up with Sports Encyclopedia? Did you put all that information down yourself from your big brain?
Yes, I did. I need to get it. I need to find a way to get it updated again soon. I'll see what I can do. But
Why don't you just
yeah,
ask bang on Portnoy's why don't you FaceTime Portnoy? Ask him for 50 grand. What's 50 grand to him?
I need to actually just need someone to run it. The company that was supposed to fix it for me did a good job redesigning the site, but it makes it very hard to update the site.
Mm.
It's a great
And
site.
maybe if I could find a way down the road of someone to make the site more accessible and user friendly, that might be helpful.
Well, Frank, how'd you come up with the Sports Encyclopedia? Like, what got you there?
I just decided to one day just start. I was out of college and I couldn't find a job, so I was just doing that in my spare time.
Where'd you start? Did you start with like the Mets and the Dolphins and the Devils, and then just slowly work
I
your way
started
out?
MLB, then NFL, then NHL, then NBA.
Gotta love that, Frank. That's unbelievable.
It's the grind right there, baby. It's the grind.
Oh wait, Frank. So I remember how you actually got hired by Barstool. So they were asking for Dolphin super fans when the Dolphins were playing the Bills. What was going on in your head when you made that submission video? Because that thing is fucking all-time classic.
I don't remember that one.
You don't remember your submission video to Barstool Sports?
No, I got hired over the New Jersey Transit's the absolute worst.
Frank's put out so many videos, bro. He can't remember all the hits.
Oh
Can't
my
catalog
god, dude!
all those.
I gotta get that video pulled up, Bobby. If you could do that, that'd be legendary.
I'll work on
Let's
it.
see what we got here. We got another super chat. Past 2 years, we find ourselves with a win and in situation. What do we do? Choke, flat out choke. Keep McDaniel. Boyer needs to go. Thoughts? I'll leave that one
Well,
for you,
Boyer absolutely has to go. They cannot bring him back.
Yeah, he's number
I
one
think-
on my list.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, if we're gonna give people passes, I feel like Boyer should probably be the one to get a pass. I mean,
No.
look at who's playing corner.
No.
Look at who's in the secondary.
No, the schemes suck. The schemes suck.
I hear you, but like at the same time, like
No, the schemes
they've
suck.
kept us in the game, Frank.
No. The first one to go has to be Greer. The second one has to be Boyer. And then
So
of course,
you're down to keep McDaniel.
Who?
You're down to keep McDaniel.
No, you're bringing another defensive
So
coordinator.
if it's you, it's clear everyone.
I wouldn't mind that. If Mike McDaniel's fired on Monday, so be it.
I mean, honestly, nothing surprises me because I didn't think Brian Flores was going to get fired. Like, that was a shock to me. Back-to-back
And it
winning
was a
seasons,
big
we haven't had that in
big
fucking
mistake
years.
because he always had that team playing up and above
They
his
had
head.
more heart when they were 1-7 than they do now.
Yeah.
The team never fucking quit last year. Any other team would have packed their shit and fucking left. And now we're over here in a downward spiral with the best roster we've had in 20 years. It's disgusting. It's despicable.
And how about the fact that Big Brain McDaniel has not won a challenge this year? The guy that's supposed to know football more than anyone else hasn't won a single coach's challenge all year long. It's mind-blowing, Frank, that he hasn't won a single challenge.
You know,
Me
every time you bring in a genius, he turns out to be a buffoon.
Write that down, Bobby. That's a quote.
Noted.
I'm gonna give McDaniel another chance. So I think he deserves it. I don't think he's that bad of a head coach. I think he's a good head coach. He's just
well, the GM has to go. He just couldn't.
If this team does not make the playoffs and Chris Greer is not fired, he has to be fucking Stephen Ross. There's nothing else that makes sense. There's no way he can keep his job unless he has some type of dirt on him.
Yeah,
there's no way.
Yeah, there probably is a lot of dirt. There's the only explanation that he's now been through 4 coaches.
Smoke, I'm surprised you haven't broke the Fire Greer shirt back out yet, bro. I think you might need to resurrect that thing.
Well, they still can possibly make the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they will. I think we get fucking manhandled by the Jets. We're going to get swept by the Jets.
Who wins a playoff game first, Frank? The Jets or the Dolphins?
The Jets.
What about the Lions or the Dolphins?
The Lions.
I fucking hate it here, man.
Oh, man. It's brutal. It's freaking brutal.
Doesn't it suck that we care, Frank? Like, why couldn't we just not give a flying fuck?
Like the entire roster, I guess.
Fucking terrible. Bobby, you got anything else for Frank?
No, that was most of what I had, man. Frank, I'm on board with a lot of Frank's plans. I think Frank needs to be the GM.
What's crazy? Everyone calls Frank crazy, but he's actually more right than he is wrong. He's right about the Mets. You're usually right about everything, and everyone just says you're negative, Frank. He doesn't know what he's talking about. You're a fucking psycho. You're this. You're that.
Frank was right,
and then it's like Frank is fucking right again. Like, how do you see these things?
I just do. I knew when the Dolphins lost to the Chargers, the season was in trouble.
Yes, I was cool with the Niners loss. I was expecting to lose that game. With the Chargers game. Oh, that was bad.
The Packers game was a cherry on top, just ruining Christmas. It's like, how do you enjoy your Christmas after your team just embarrasses you like that?
Oh, I got one last question for you, Frank. So those interceptions in the Packers game, a lot of people are giving him a pass because it was a concussion. So my argument is, had he thrown the game-winning touchdown with a concussion, we'd be calling him Rocky, the greatest performance of all time, the clutchest thing we've ever seen in our life. But since it was 3 interceptions, it's like, oh, it's because he's concussed. Now I understand that he was concussed, so it definitely affected the way he had played. But are you just going to give him a free pass and say, oh, he's concussed? Like, I'm just going to ignore the 3 interceptions.
He's brittle. He's brittle, and when the chips are down, he doesn't get the job done.
There you have it. All right. Well, Frank, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Thank you so much. It's been a blessing to have you here. Anytime you want to come back, let me know, man, because we absolutely love you over here.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Take it easy, brother. Good luck in the Mets season.
Unfucking believable. Frank the motherfucking Tank on the Smoke Show. Unreal.
The Tank, bro.
Unreal.
Tank.
Shout out Jay Holla for the $2 super chat. Greer was told, find a coach that could salvage Tua. Yep. And this is where we are. Look, again, when Tua's on the field, I think he's magnificent. I'll take that back just because of how bad he played against the Packers, the Chargers, and the Niners. I think he's good. I think he's a very good quarterback. I think he's top 10 when he's on the field. Just he's not on the field enough, and this is what happens. This is what happens. Because now, had you had him, you'd be in the playoffs right now. You would. If Tua played 15 to 17 games, this team would be in the playoffs. And I know, maybe, I mean, sure, should the Dolphins have won at least one single fucking game with a backup quarterback? Yes, 100%. But the fact of the matter is, it's the third year in a row where we don't have our franchise guy on the field, and it's costing us very winnable games.
Yeah, I mean, you can't argue the talent. I mean, what he was doing in the beginning and middle of the season was unbelievable, MVP level. But when it becomes a trend, when you can't win in December, you can't be available, you can't be on the field, at some point, it's just enough is enough, man. I don't know where I'm at with Tua. I'm going to take some time. I think he's going to be the quarterback next year. I think he's for sure going to be the
I mean,
quarterback
he's going to
next
be
year.
on the roster. I just don't know if he's going to be the starting quarterback next year.
Who knows?
Shout out Tyler for the $2 super chat. Vic Fangio for DC seems like a good move to me. All right, so this is what we're going to do, and we're going to wrap it up because I know everyone came here to watch Frank. That's what I came here to do, was just fucking look at him on my screen the whole time. All right, so I'm anticipating that the Finns are going to lose. And when I tell you guys this, I'm saying this to almost make the Dolphins win. Like, I'm going to try to mush the Dolphins and call the Jets an absolute guaranteed lock just so the Dolphins can win. But I think we're dead. We opened up as 3.5-point favorites. The Jets are now 1-point favorites over the Dolphins. So let's just start for next year already. We might as well just fucking flash forward, get ready for training camp, and to sweat my dick off in July, holding my phone up, illegally recording training camp videos. Anyway, let's say it is the day after week 18. They have, what do they call it? Like Black Monday or whatever the fuck it's called when they fire everyone.
Mm-hmm.
If you are Stephen Ross, and you need to put yourself in his shoes, not, hey, I'm Bobby, this is my opinion. If you are Stephen Ross himself, you are a multi-billionaire, 82 years old, never seen your team win a playoff game since you bought them. What is your move?
I wouldn't fire McDaniel, bro. I don't see how you can unless you have something in the wings that you're ready. Unless he knows Sean Payton's coming to Miami, we can somehow figure out a way to get it done, and he has that name lined up in the chamber ready to go. Sure, pull the trigger. If you have a guy that you think is going to be an outstanding coach, has experience, has done it before, is going to come in and lead this team, do it. But if you're going to try and sit back and hire like another quarterbacks coach or offensive quality control coach, fuck no. I don't want to start over with some new fresh meat. I'd rather give McDaniel the benefit of the doubt, hope that this is just a rookie thing, he can figure it out and go. That's the only way I'm firing him is if it's a Sean Payton, a Jim Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a Michigan guy. Stephen Ross is the biggest Michigan donor in the world. That could make a little bit of sense. But unless he has a surefire coach he is bringing in and wants to win with, I don't think there's any shot he fires McDaniel, personally.
I'm not firing McDaniel. I'm keeping McDaniel. I still love McDaniel. I love him. I don't hate McDaniel at all. Do I think this is the biggest collapse that I've seen, at least in my lifetime? Sure, absolutely. But I love McDaniel. I'm not firing him. Now, I said earlier I would give, if I had to give someone a pass this year, it would be Boyer. But after what you've seen, you got to fire him. I mean, if I'm Ross, I'm firing him. And if I'm Ross, I'm firing Greer. And if I'm Ross, I am on a short leash. I'm about to fucking die. I need a quarterback that I know is going to be out there for the whole season. And I would bring in Tom Brady.
Truthfully, I think one of the biggest fuck ups Stephen Ross ever had is when we brought in Mike McDaniel but kept Greer. Like, GMs and coaches come together. Your GM picks the coach. They come in tandems. You can't just let this GM stay there and just keep cycling through coaches saying, oh, well, maybe it's no, fire them both. Bring in two guys together that can be a tandem, because now it's like, oh, well, what are we going to do? Fire the GM, and a new GM is going to come in and just inherit this head coach? That's never a solution. That's never a good problem to have. So now it's just like, well, fuck, if you fire Greer, you're probably wiping house. And Boyer has to go. That's move number one. I'd rather keep Greer than Boyer. I get it. The defense has been hurt. They've kept us in some games. But when you're playing that coverage we were playing at the 1 yard line versus the Patriots that allowed Jacoby Meyer to be one-on-one with Davis Riley.
Do we have timeouts or no?
It doesn't matter. I don't care.
I
if
mean,
you
that
have
would have been a
timeout.
nice timeout to call as the fucking head coach. It's
Oh, I agree.
Piss him away because we can't fucking line up straight, and it's week 17, and we still can't get out of the huddle, get the play right. We can't get guys in motions. We can't get guys to get set for one fucking time. I mean, it's 7 minutes in the second quarter. We got no damn timeouts, and we probably didn't even have timeouts. And if we did, that's probably a time you want to use a fucking timeout.
Yep,
It's terrible.
it's bad.
Oh. Anyway, this is the last thing, and we'll wrap it up. Shout out my dog Mayo. Talk about how your boy is getting hosed over the 8.5 wins. Bobby, you have the same ticket. I'll let you answer this one, and we'll wrap the show up. How are you approaching your Dolphins win total over 8.5 ticket?
Yeah, bro. I got win total over 8.5, and I got Dolphins to make playoffs. I definitely don't think we're making the playoffs. The 8.5 is crazy. The only thing that's nice about this is we have a pretty free hedge on the Jets. I think I'm going to hedge out at least half, so that I'm not completely miserable and like don't want to live anymore on Monday. So I'm going to hedge out at least half. If I start getting that feeling come Sunday that Skylar Thompson's starting at quarterback, I might hedge out the whole damn thing so I don't even have to worry about Skylar affecting my income and my finances. Because when I bet that fucking bet, I didn't bet it with Skylar Thompson playing quarterback of the Miami Dolphins. Maybe I should have. I should have had half a brain in my head to know that this quarterback that we have can't stay healthy. But hey, revisionist history. You can all look back and think you would have did a million things differently, but is what it is. We got to hedge out though. We can't sit there on Sunday with our money on the line and say, Skylar, go win it for us. You just can't. A normal, rational human being can't do that.
Yeah, Skylar sucks. I'm going to leave it at that. Yo, shout out to everyone in the chat. You guys absolutely blew it up.
Yes.
God bless everyone that donated. If you guys haven't already, please hit the like button. It's absolutely free. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. We're almost at 5K subs. We can only do that with your guys' help. Love you guys. It sucks to be a Dolphin fan, but it's also a blessing to be a part of this community. Love you guys. Come back here for Fired Up Friday as we preview probably the biggest disappointing game of the year. And as always, fins up. Actually, nah, they're down. I'm done with the fins up shit.
My fins down as a motherfucker.
They're fucking
right
down until they make the fucking playoffs.
Yeah.